Yeah. See this corruption? Yeah. The impairment of a public official's duties by bribery. Now, the word corruption indicates impurity or debasement, and when found in the criminal law, it means depravity or gross impropriety. Now, let's say, right, that you decide to issue this protection order, right, and you issued it for 10 years. But there was no attempt of service, right? And then it was 48 days later, yes, and the previous protection order didn't expire within the 90 days that the law required, right? And then you didn't do what the court rules say, yes, and you didn't have actual notice to myself, yes, and then you issued it because you're the court commissioner. You are not practicing law. You're committing domestic violence. Now, I asked you to remove it. And I asked to have my sons. And this depravity of the court, yes. The gross impropriety of the court because of being corrupted, yeah. It's domestic violence against the United States of America. Every oath of office to the best of their ability. Most of them say support and defend, yes. Some of them say support of the Constitution, yes. But a few of them have some very special characteristics. The preserve, protect, and defend. Ooch. Now, when you don't do what the Constitution requires because I have the right to due process, and you made up some bullshit about me being crazy because my wife decided to abduct my sons and kidnap them, yes. I have the right in the Fifth Amendment, right, nor shall be compelled in any criminal cases to be a witness against myself, yeah, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That means that when you decided to issue this, yes, you were obligated to serve me. And when you served me in the Swim Public Library, yes, it was a wrongful execution of a court order. Yes. And when you served somebody other than myself, it violated my right to due process. Now, this thing for the last 3 years and 6 months has been domestic violence against the United States of America. Now, Sheriff, yes. When my Illuminatist wife decided to motion the court for a dissolution of marriage, yeah. hmm a petition for dissolution, yes. Within that petition for dissolution, she issued a summons, yeah. And you served me, and you arrested me at the same moment. Now, I was not able to respond at the actual moment because the sheriff's department of Clallam County arrested me and put me in jail, and they served me. Now, why they thought, well, I want you to serve Paul in the fifth wheel, yes, at 1023 Kitchen Dick Road at 7 p.m., yes, on May 28th. That was arraigned on the 29th, yes, or might have been the 27th, yeah, because it was Memorial Day holiday, yeah. And then instead of paying, yes, for the actual service of the dissolution of marriage, yeah, somebody convinced the sheriff's department that they should just, well, get to use one stone, something about two birds and one stone or something like this. Yeah. Kill two birds with one stone. Yeah. But it was a wrongful execution of the dissolution of marriage. It was invalid from the time that they served me and arrested me at the same moment. Now, the requirements of the law say that I do have the right to respond as soon as I had it. Yes. And even though it was a weekend, I could have ran in there Tuesday morning, yes, and said, I don't want a divorce. I didn't have to wait the 89 days. No, I didn't. Now, a lot of divorces have been prevented because the spouse immediately responded to the concerns of their spouse. If I looked at all of the actual petitions for dissolution of marriage, see, look for this petition for dissolution. Yes, on every court website, in every court of the United States that has a superior court. Poof. Now, petition for dissolution. Of all of those that went from petition for dissolution to a non-jury trial decree of dissolution, yes. How many of them never got to the decree of dissolution because they decided they didn't want to get a divorce? Well, it's It's quite a few months and sometimes it's years between the petition for dissolution, yes, and the decree of dissolution, yeah. It took approximately, well, just guesstimating, the 6 months of 2012, yes, and 2 more months of 2013. It took 8 months for you to award a decree of dissolution, yes, because I responded in 89 days, yeah. hmm I went to jail, yes. Now, it would have been possible, yes, that if you hadn't done what the law requires, if you had practiced law, sheriff, that I wouldn't be divorced right now. I'd be residing with my wife and kids someplace. Because at that time, I didn't want a dissolution of marriage. In fact, in my response, I said, I don't want a divorce. I said it multiple times. Now, I would say, get me every petition for dissolution in every superior court in each and every county of the United States for the last 20 years. Yes. And then search for decree of dissolution. Poop. Now, from the start to the finish, yes, a lot of people don't actually get a divorce. Do you realize that? You cannot call it the practice of law when you don't give every available chance for the marriage to survive. See, there's the idea of the sanctity of marriage. When you decided to issue the decree of dissolution of marriage, Judge Ken Williams, and the sheriff's department decided to serve me and arrest me at the same moment, you prevented me from responding until after I got out of jail. Ooh. Now, a lot of times somebody would get it on a weekend. They think about it. They say, oh, I don't want a divorce. Yes. I don't want a divorce. I have 5 sons. True. When I got married, I did mean what I had vowed. Yes. But you took all of that away right now. Domestic violence. I'm going to sue you, Judge Ken Williams, for not practicing law. Poop. I'm going to sue Brent Baisden for not practicing law. I'm going to sue each and every judge and justice of the United States for the knowledge of not practicing law. Because not practicing law cost me years, 7 years and 8 months, yes, of separation from my sons. It cost me my marriage. It cost me every. This is the Constitution. To have, oh, look at here. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. You deprived me of my life, liberty, and my property without due process of law. There was no due process of law when you arrested me at the same moment. I don't think you understand. When I say I will put in prison every oath of office, I am that American citizen that will put in prison every oath of office. I really don't give a fuck who you are. Do you understand this? I don't care if you're a police officer, a sheriff, a senator, a representative. I don't care if you're a president. If I have the legal right to have you sued and put in prison, because right now, I will do it. It's now skin off my back, okay? I will do it. Now, it should have been, yes, that as soon as Judge Ken Williams had knowledge that Heidi had motioned for a default dissolution of marriage when I had responded, yes, that you should have immediately obligated her to remove it. Pow!